Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out a brand new gaming projector from BenQ, the TH690ST, which for right around $1,000 promises some very impressive gaming performance. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then stick around and we'll get into it right after the intro. Alright, so as I mentioned, today we're going to be reviewing the TH690ST, which is actually the first gaming projector that we've taken a look at here on the channel. And you know, for the longest time, if you wanted a high quality, low latency display for playing newer consoles, your options were pretty much always limited to OLED TVs, or really high-end LCD computer monitors, or even some old CRT monitors. But more recently, projectors have also been getting really competitive thanks to the better built-in image processing and faster switching DLP chips that can offer some really sharp image quality without sacrificing on latency or refresh rate. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and unbox this projector to see if it lives up to its claims. Inside, you get a box packed with pretty much everything you're going to need to use the projector. A remote, AC power cord, some warranty and setup manuals, and a couple of AAA batteries for the remote. And of course, you also get the projector itself, which was packed really securely. This is a DLP projector that supports a resolution of 1080p along with HDR10, and it utilizes BenQ's 4 LED light source, which produces 2300 lumens and boasts a 20,000 hour lifespan. This should also help to give us some really good color performance, but we'll touch on that a little more later in the video. And since the DLP chip can switch very quickly as compared to the regular LCD panels in other projectors, this should give us a maximum refresh rate of 120 Hz and as low as 8.3 milliseconds of input lag while in game mode. Taking a look around the projector itself, it's actually pretty small and compact. Weighing in at just 8 pounds, it's surprisingly portable. This shows a big advantage of a projector designed for gaming over something like the Epson LS12000, which was designed more for home theater use and weighs a pretty substantial 28 pounds. Up front, you have the short-throw lens that gives you a 100-inch image from just 5 feet away. This also has manual zoom and focus, which can be changed from the top opening. On the sides, you can also see the openings for the built-in Trevolo speakers. And moving around the back, we have some inputs and outputs. 2 HDMI 2.0 ports, which can accept up to 1080p at 120 Hz or 4K at 60 Hz. But of course, this will get scaled down to 1080p. We also have an optical and 3.5mm audio outputs if you want to easily connect this to a soundbar. A USB port that can be used to power things like fiber optic cables, a serial port, 3.5mm input, and of course an AC power plug. Now, with all of that out of the way, we went ahead and started setting up the projector so we could test it out and see how it looked on our 120-inch Elite Screens white projector screen. BenQ offers an online calculator that showed us how we could place this projector anywhere between 72 and 86 inches away from our screen to fill the whole 120-inch frame. So we set up our table and started positioning the projector. On the bottom of the projector, there are also these 3 adjustable feet that we use to dial in the exact position of the picture, but it's also worth mentioning here that it can be mounted on the ceiling with a separate mounting kit if you don't want to keep your projector on a table. Turning on the projector for the first time, you can see the very intuitive setup menu that lets you set up how you have your projector mounted. You also get the option to configure things like digital keystone to make the image fit your screen better. But do keep in mind that these keystone settings will reduce image quality, so we prefer not to use them. Overall, there are more variables that you have to consider when you're setting up a projector as compared to a TV, like the size of your room, where your seating is, lighting conditions, etc. But to us, it's worth it for the extra size. It might be a long time before you can get a comparable 120-inch TV, and if you wanted, you could get as big as a 300-inch image from this projector. But of course, you would be losing out on some brightness. Once you get through the initial setup page, you can also go into the main menu and change some more of the image settings to match your preferences. But for most of our testing, we just left the projector in the default living room preset, which looked pretty good to our eyes. Since this is a gaming projector, we started our testing by trying out our PS5 and Nintendo Switch so we could have access to a wide variety of games. And the first thing that we noticed was, thanks to the 1080p DLP chip, this projector is incredibly sharp. A lot of 3 LCD projectors can look a little soft due to the image processing or poor convergence between the LCD panels. But a DLP setup like this will not suffer from the same issues. On the Switch, colors popped without being blown out, and we were really surprised with how bright the image was. Playing games like Smash Ultimate was a blast on the 120-inch screen, and it makes sense to play a multiplayer game like this on a screen that everybody else can easily see. Blacks were also really good as long as we controlled the lighting in the room. We were also really happy with how the PS5 games looked, both with HDR on and off, and our games felt very responsive with game mode enabled. Here, everything had a very natural look, and of course, since you're playing on such a big screen, it's super immersive. We tried lots of different games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Horizon Forbidden West, Cyberpunk 2077, and considering the price, we were very impressed with the image this projector was capable of across all of the games we checked out. We also went ahead and watched some movies with this projector, streaming them from our Plex server through an NVIDIA Shield Pro. And while the TH690ST did a pretty decent job with this, there are some things to keep in mind. This is first and foremost a gaming projector, and so it lacks some of the features that you might expect a full home theater projector to have that would make movies look as good as possible. For example, we didn't find any kind of frame interpolation or motion smoothing options, so movies running at 24 Hz did look a little choppier on this projector than I'm used to. But that wasn't really a big deal. It only affects movies, and you might not even notice it if you're not used to motion smoothing in the first place. Another thing that I need to quickly mention here is the rainbow effect. And since this projector uses a DLP chip to turn the light from the LEDs into a complete image, it has to switch between each light source really fast to make one complete full color frame. And this does mean that there will be a slight rainbow effect in certain scenes. The camera does make this more noticeable than it really is because of its low frame rate and shutter speed, and in most cases you won't even see it unless you're looking for it. But it is still something to consider if you are sensitive to rainbow effect. We barely realized it was happening with games though, so it's not a big deal for us. The built-in Travola speakers were also surprisingly good, maybe on the level of about $100 soundbar, which might be pushing it a little, but that's saying a lot for built-in speakers on a projector. There are a few different EQ modes that you can choose from, and we like the cinema mode the best by far, but overall we didn't have much to complain about. Now, obviously being a home theater channel, we're always going to recommend you get something like a pair of speakers or a surround sound setup with a receiver to get the best experience possible. But with that said, these speakers are some of the best that we've heard from a projector. In the end, this projector did a really good job doing what it's designed to do, which is to play games. It might not have a lot of fancy features that a true home theater projector does, but for the price, it gives you a very high quality image that doesn't compromise on input latency or color quality. So if you're in the market for a high quality, compact 1080p gaming projector, then you should definitely put the BenQ TH690ST at the top of your list. And with that said, it's time to wrap up this video. You can learn more about this projector on BenQ's website, and we'll make sure to leave a link down below. Let us know what you think. Would you be interested in a gaming projector like this? And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Thank you all for watching, and as always, have an awesome day.